Today I'm joined by Toby Hall, the Chief Executive Officer of Minds and Machines Group, following their interim results announcement out this morning. Toby, great to have you with us.
It's a pleasure, Rosie.
Now Toby, it's been a transformative period for the company. Can you give us your highlights?
Yeah, it's been a very strong first half of the year. We're an H2, heavily H2 weighted business, but to see the core business developing at such a pace has been very reassuring. Our top line registrations up 38%, our renewal base up 40%. And that is absolutely key. The growth of our renewal base allows the analyst community to actually start modeling our business far more clearly.
As you said, strong registration and renewal revenue growth. This must be really pleasing to see. Will this offset the slowdown in high-value one-off sales?
Well, let's just focus in on the first half piece. Our top line revenues were again significantly ahead, 22% ahead at over 6.5. And we turned a loss on the first half of last year on a cash basis into a profit. We saw a 1.4 million turnaround in actual real cash into the business, which is fantastic, as well as obviously the accounting growth, which was a threefold growth to sort of 660k. So very strong growth based around standard and lower premium inventory. And that's what's encouraging to us, because as I said, that is the revenue that's easier for not only the outside world, but frankly ourselves to model. The analysts, the city, the industry, is always a little bit skeptical of one-off, very high-value sales because, how can you base a business on one-off? And really what we were doing today was signaling the lack of dependency, the increasing less dependency on that revenue stream for our business and its role. Historically, close to 50% of our revenues are coming off from one-off sales. So that part of the business is scaling down, and how we're now approaching that very high premium block, which frankly is for us to release when we want to release it, is creating pricing mechanisms so they are no longer one-off sales. They're more of a leasing model for very, very high value properties. And we think as we go into 2019, that will become a dominant model, certainly in the US and in Europe, in the European markets. And we look forward to that piece. We have some work to do for the last quarter of the year, but that's our job. That's what we're here to do.
So how does your acquisition of ICM fit within this strategy?
Well, it's absolutely really going to plan. The main strength of ICM is it's a great business. Revenues are around about 7 million. And 75% plus of that revenue was is renewal based. And coming out of the US and Europe. So again, a great rebalancing, drawing down the lack of making premium high value one-off sales less relevant to our business going forward, and likewise creating far greater exposure in the US and European markets. Because when you represent a good block of renewal income for your retail partners, they listen to you more. You can get better shelf space in their stores. So
what does your cash position look like now?
Cash, we're in a good, solid place. Obviously, we put $10 million out for cash for the acquisition. The core operations contributed, made a positive contribution of, in round numbers, $500,000. So no, we're in a solid place.
And Toby, highlighted in your results announcement is the restructuring. Talk us through it.
Well, that was an important exercise. Part of the turnaround story, obviously, is get the operation sorted, get the actual setup of the business right, much leaner. But there were certain legacy contracts that the business inherited, and after 2 years of working with the partners to see how the economics can be put onto the better footing, the decision has been to actually take an owner's contract provision on the key item, and that actually we think is the right thing to do. It means that going forward, we will have this drag of the tune to about 1.7 million a year removed from our operating EBITDA. So investors and our shareholders can see that the actual progress of the core business far more cleanly moving forward without having to make constant adjustments.
So Toby, give us a summary. What's your outlook?
Yeah, absolutely. We've made our first key acquisition, bolted it in, and that is performing very well. That integration is going according to plan. Likewise, we have our launch of our first innovation project, .lux, which we see as having great strategic importance to us. And we see significant opportunities ahead by introducing a new pricing model around certain areas of inventory that we have on our books. So yeah, work to do, but we're looking forward with cautious optimism, I think is the phrase in our announcement today.
Toby, exciting times ahead. Thank you for talking to us this morning.
Many thanks, Rosie.